Alright, good afternoon everyone, ladies, gentlemen, and those of you who know better. This is the start of the September raid, the Allegiance raid, the first one in the Damocles cycle. Hello to everyone in the YouTube chat here getting started, and just as we usually do, we're going to be doing a brief high-level overview of all the different ships and targets we're using here, the different prizes you're going to pick up here, and of course the big part is actually hitting the prizes doing the raid. I will, of course, give you any updates and stuff on the Damocles build as I do see fit, as well as the Harbinger, which, because there is a Harbinger target, we'll also go through which ones actually make sense to hit. Just in terms of the prizes themselves, we do have the new content in terms of the Lionfish flagship, which makes everything around it stronger if it's surrounded by enemies. We will, of course, get into more detailed videos on how this stuff works. I'll bet you the build is the exact same as your other 4 Lionfish, though, to save you a little bit of time. The other thing is we do have a new engine, which actually could change the Lionfish build here. The key factor is the 50% projectile speed here, which should be quite interesting on how that works with the build we have. Should just directly replace Capstone engine. Of course, we do also have 3 new armor plates for the corrosive, concussive, and radioactive armor, and this should just about shut down Badgers in most cases, at least in today's current meta. Alright, and as well, we do have several different tokens, including Damocles upgrade tokens, which will be exciting to get into, as well as build tokens if you need to finish anything out there. Make sure you do pick up the flagship kits to get your flag to X1, because there's no other time to get them. Alright, with that out of the way, we do have a few build items we need to take care of here, which should be interesting. First thing you get to see me do is spend 49 coins on speeding up a ship here. It's the only way I could get my flagship to U3 on the day 1 of the raid was doing this coining. Otherwise, oh well. Now, I did manage to do that with pretty much that being the only coins I spent here. The other ships are all U3, but I do have just a little bit more to add on because I have 11 days of upgrade tokens from my pillage and from the given out for free at the start of the month and from the TLC. So I'm going to be able to get 2 ships, at least in the next 10-15 minutes or so, up to X1, not spending any coins on those 2 ships, which, hey, that's pretty cool. One of these guys up to X1 already. The X1 is interesting in that it does give you survival, which is whatever. Built-in weapon damage, that plus 200 number, means that the special ability damage here of the Iron Rail Cannon goes from 1644, which should say on the others, to 1844. So that's literally all that is. The other X1 stats here include the Pierce range, which affects all Pierce on the entire hull, and the Splash, which affects only this built-in weapon here, the Iron Rail or Iron Spike Cannon, just as an FYI. Alright, and you saw my build there. This is the flagship. They're all the same as this one, except one of these ships is running Hyper 30 instead, which should be ship number 4 here. That's got Hyper 30 on instead. It will be just a little bit faster, have a little bit more evade. Let's see if I have any good crews to throw on at the moment. Looks like I don't, so let's go ahead and take a look at the targets to go through. Alright, looks like we have the 100, 101, 500, 600. The 100 should be the only auto target out of this set. This will pay out 250k and be part of the set bonus toward the standard S set there of 1 million total, and also a 500k bonus if you complete all 4 targets. Let's go take a look at the 100 target, and it's a mega hull, so hey, that should be interesting. As well here, I can actually go ahead and put up my build in the corner of the screen if you want to take another look at that. I did do a little bit of fancy things here, a little bit of things different, so there should be a few minor improvements and changes here to this recording setup, including the volume probably being loud enough for you all. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this siege target here. Should be interesting to go through. Alright, and remember, I do have a 4-ship fleet, and I spent, 49 coins on the entire 4-ship fleet, which isn't bad at all. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Zooming out a little bit, and here we go. Alright, quick look around the target. It looks different than the VXP targets we saw. I'm entering in the top left here because that's where I entered from. Let's go ahead and retreat, come in on the bottom right, and see if that changes my entrance path whatsoever. That is really actually helpful, needed info to know. Looks like that was the case. Wherever you enter the 100 from, it's a fixed spawn location, so looks like that's needed info. Which should mean this target is set up to auto fairly nicely, although of course we'll have to see how that actually goes. Alright, we do have a few directional turrets in terms of these Wendigo launcher ones. These used to be the throwers until Kixeye realized that that was really confusing to have an evade-based thrower. The other targets include these Tempest launchers, which should be interesting. I'm not quite sure what the behavior of those will be like. And then these ballistic cannons seem to me like they had firing arcs in them before, but now they don't. Let's just get kind of close, see what happens when we get near these guys. Alright, that fires at me, and it outranges me, so there's guaranteed damage from these Tempest launchers, which is interesting. Not sure if that's evade-based or not. Looks like it probably is, because Ship 4 took a beating. Alright, cannonball turret, stay moving. I avoided all the damage from that guy. Now, interestingly, I should have actually done my X1 ship as Ship 2. It should have been Ship 4. That would have been the best results here. Stay moving, grab the one turret that kills you, stay out of range of the other one, stay moving against the turret. And these guys right here are a little bit confusing. I think we asked about those in VXP, and they gave bonuses to the Mega Hull, which, it's interesting, I haven't actually seen this thing yet. Alright, grab the turret on the edge, grab the one, stay moving here. This guy does damage to me, stay moving. And the entrance here, which looks like ships had a little bit of a split up on here. Whatever. Alright, the Mega Hull looks interesting. Several different weapons on here. Looks like 2 cannons and 2 larger Gatling guns almost. Looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see what kind of damage things are doing. Hovering over them doesn't appear to do anything, which, whatever. Alright. Okay, I'm in range. I'm getting shot at by something. Getting shot at by something else. So it looks like these 2 cannons right here are short range and are going to potentially miss you. And there are also some medium range ones with a high blind spot. Bridge is exposed, and that should be the target just about finished other than one of these things right here. Again, these might be random buildings in the 100, but might boost a different weapon on the Mega and the 101. Interesting target, a few aspects in terms of the actual, a few aspects in terms of the, what am I saying there, of the target and the Mega Hull itself to go over in a little bit more detail. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see things a little more clearly here and make this just a little bit larger. Alright, battle report, almost no ballistic damage because that should have all been avoidable by running away from it. All the damage taken in this target should be Tempests, or the Tempest launcher, and some of that is evaded, a small portion, some is resisted. Total repair time for this, which is of course what we're interested in, is 15 minutes and 34 seconds. Hey, that seems pretty good to me. But also not a payout of 250k, which I'm not sure how I would think about that because I definitely didn't have anything that killed something else in the target. Overall, I think that the 100 target is pretty solid. Not sure too much about that, or, I think anything interesting there, but hey, target seems pretty useful. Seems like driving definitely works out, and you can get instant base repair from doing that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the repair time in this, see how much of it is split out on that ship that was faster, because remember, I do have one ship that is a little bit different, so yeah, that one ship is slightly faster than everything else, and that took 10 minutes damage compared to just about 11 minutes on that one compared to instant on everything else, which was interesting. We'll go ahead and leave that 11 minutes of repair time on here, go find a 101 and see how different those guys are. do find it concerning I'm not getting that instant repair, or not that first time at least. I do find it concerning that I'm not getting the full 250k points. Well, just a little bit annoying. I didn't see anything killing anything else in this target. Not quite sure why you might be having a blurry screen. I do believe I have things set to my standard settings of 1080p. If things are really bad afterward, I'll take a look and fix some things. Alright, 101, I entered in the top left, came in the top left, and we have a mega hole hidden inside a dry dock, looks like. So we'll take one more peek on the left side, see if that's any different there. Or more on the right side, see if I come in at a different angle than I hit at. I do find that information to be useful, at least. Alright, so it does matter. It is not a fixed entry point on this one. So here we go. Alright, we have a moving missile, and looks like that did a little bit of damage to me. That's the thing I was talking about, that these buildings here might buff, although that blue flag is missing. Ooh, I am in range of one of those guys. That's not great. Ooh, that's not great either. So I probably want to plan out better these firing arcs, and I want to run out the other way around this target. So I think I want to start off on the top left there and go around counterclockwise, although that doesn't look like it's going to happen either. Interesting. You can pull up both of the different firing arcs if you hover over one and you've already shift-clicked the other, so that's what I was doing there. A blunderbuss. Well, that's the advantage of having that slightly faster shape with more evade. It means that it's definitely, for sure, taking all the damage that is accuracy-based from these guys. Alright, this cluster is fine to hit on this side. And I don't know why it's a blunderbuss now instead of the other style. One turret I'm in range of. I'm not sure how much damage I'm taking from those guys. It doesn't seem like a lot, but, you know, it's more than you want. More loop around for the Tempest launcher. And perfect. Alright. 3 turrets right here. Looks like I do want to loop around for those ones. See if the projectile speed of that missile, or the, I'm not even sure what to call it, the, the torpedo, looks like it is slower now than at the start of the target. I know that was one thing they had in those VXP targets, was those buildings that buffed projectile speed. They're still there, but without the arc, so I'm not sure they do it anymore. I'm going to wait till those launchers have gone and hit everything, and then loop in. I probably did take some damage from that heavy cannon right there. Close range here, grabbing the short range turret first. The other one, they're shooting at me as well. And another short range turret here, although I am outrunning the ballistic damage from that, which is good. And last module, the bridge is exposed, and I can't kill it from there. That's funny. Interesting. Alright, there's the target. Looks like it's a lot rougher, or it needs a little more practice driving, so I will go ahead and hit this another time here and definitely auto through the 100 as well, just to see the damages taken on the other ships. So some ballistic and some radioactive. I believe in a perfect world, you only take radioactive. 49 minutes, but remember, there was 11 of those on this last ship already, so you get those away down to 38 minutes per target, which seems high, seems a little confusing, so we'll go ahead and hit the 100 again, and 101 again, rather. I think we'll try entering top right and see how well that works. It may also be better to enter on a few other points and straight up auto something. Alright, well, that's not what I meant. It may be better to enter and not go through these guys and rush through the front instead. So the goal for this time is to not get hit by this large cannon, and also to not get hit by any of these guys. We'll see how well that works. I think it will work better too if I stay zoomed out. Alright. Close. That guy's dead. That one's not. Second loop here. and trying to stay out of the path of these things to the right. Okay, how do I want to engage these things? Looks like straight down the core should work. Perfect. Nice. Alright, looping out here. Those ones look like I can come off from the left side, hovering over both. So again, I shift-clicked one and just hover over the other. Try and stay moving here, avoid some of that damage. And looping back in. There we go. Again, staying moving there so that large cannon doesn't hit me. Interesting, this is going much better than it did last time. Alright. Yep, there's a blind spot here. Gotten damaged by that one, not quite sure. Why not go straight in? I thought about that. I did mention that that was an option, but I think there's so many things around the outside that it's better not to. It's better to reduce the damage here. If I'm not getting actually damaged by this thing... Oh, you distracted me. If I'm not actually getting damaged by things from the inside, it's fine to loop around the outside so it's easier. I don't want to be stuck inside at the core of this thing where, like right here, this cluster and this cluster are shooting at me. But we could try that and see if that is lower damage. Alright, hopefully those launchers don't turn on here, although they might. Let's go for the short range guy first, and then the medium one range next over here. Then we'll get the long range ones over here that aren't doing anything. Yeah, you could hit the... We could try hitting the core going for the center. Now, why can't I shoot at you? Are you... Come on, Kixeye. Fix your Mega. What is this doing? This ship 4 is really getting beat up on here. I was at 49 minutes damage. We'll check what we've got here. It also does feel like exposing the bridge should do something, not just being the last item to hit in the target. So, interesting strategies going through here. So, we'll try this again, rushing the core, seeing what happens. And 49 minutes, that was 20 minutes damage for that target. That's pretty good. I'll take 20 minutes damage for the target any day. So if you actually try and do well, you'll take 20 minutes instead of 38. So, good results from that. The other thing you could do there is you could put change the armor on ship 4 here. And let me pull up my build again so you can see that a little bit more closely. That's not the right button. This is the right button. If you change these armor plates on the ship with Hyper 30 to be both radioactive, that could definitely work real nice. Alright, we're going to try straight up for the core. Around on these sides though first, just to get a few things on the outside. I want to run into those firing arcs if I don't need to. Back in, grab that guy. 3 turrets, 1, 2, 3. Mega hole part 1, mega hole part 2. Grab these things that are actually shooting at me. Medium range turret over here. Getting shot at by those, but not actually taking damage, and the mega's down. Very nice. That worked quite well. And then we're inside, so we only have to worry about these non-directional turrets. Which, the interesting part is if I can actually reach them. The pierce aspect will help out a lot for those. Interesting. We were at 109 before starting this target. This seems a much faster method. This seems like it's going to work better, although the issue you ran into right there is I got stuck on the walls. I couldn't actually turn around very easily. Stay moving. Speed's really important on this target if you haven't noticed. Really helps dodge those cannons. That was a much, much faster time to complete the target. What's left? Something up. Oh, it's the bridge. Alright, hey, well, yeah, thanks for that suggestion there. Looks like it did work quite well. And I would agree Sea Serpents would be a great crew to try out here. Steelhead is always one of my go-tos because it just works. It lowers your damage taken by 15%. So, hey, that's fantastic. 109 to 125, 16 minutes damage to that target, maybe 17. Great results there. Let's go ahead back to base repair because I don't want to waste any time on that fourth ship. And we'll hit the 500 target too because that is something else that's new. I do also, of course, want to try autoing something. That might happen first. So, where's a 100 I can go ahead and auto? Looks like repair right now is 126. Let's see what the damage is on auto. And hopefully these ships stay together. This is the 100 target on auto, so that should work just a little bit more nicely. Alright, here we go. Perfect. Starting out quite nicely by going for the turret that actually is going to do damage to it. Most everything else on that platform is dead. Directional turret's down. Takes some damage from the ballistic turret. Rounds the corner against these next two. Pierce should work quite nicely here, grabbing two turrets at once with a minute amount of damage off onto the next directional turret. A few damages off here. Stops just as it gets hit by those ballistic cannonballs. Moving across to the next radioactive turret. Shoot something else instead. Hey, whatever. Although it is doing quite nicely, it's staying grouped up and stacked together in the 100 target. Against a few things here. A few more shots. And it should not even take any damage from this last directional turret. So it does quite well at autoing the outside. Very good. Against this Mega, it does only have what appears to be medium and short-range weapons. No long-range things like we had in the 101. Grabbing a few different things on this Mega. It reminds me a little bit of those Apollo raids. Perfect. Around the corner, shoot a few things. And last item, went from 126. Pretty quick time to complete the target, so hey, pretty good. And we'll see the results here in a moment. I'll go ahead and flash up the build on screen here too if you were wondering. Four ships, 3 of them are like this. 1 of them is all the way up to X1. 1 of them has Hyper 30. Ideally, those would be the same ship. Alright, we were at 126 up to 101. So that is 35 minutes repair on that target. So, not great on auto. You can do much better driving. I got 14 minutes the first attempt here. But sure is possible to drive this thing for decently low repair. Again, auto possible too, about 35 minutes damage. Let's go ahead and use some of those free 2-hour repair tokens on this target. And perfect. Next up is the 500. If I had a crew, I'd throw it on here right now, but I don't, so I'm not going to. I got full points with that one. Hadn't really compared too much. Alright. $500 target. Let's see. This one is starting out slightly damaged. Not sure why. Looks very similar to the other ones. So we did have the best results by rushing inside last time. Although several of these firing arcs, and again, there's so many of those, are pointing inside. So I think it's going to be best to go slow, methodical, outside the target first. That's out of the way, that's out of the way. So where can I hit this where I won't take too much damage? If there was a button I could press to show all the directional turrets, I would try that. Being shot at by this long-range cannonball. The Culverian cannon. Looks like a pretty efficient method to clear off that left side there. And missed one building. This fleet does not seem to do a lot of damage compared to the target's health. It takes a few shots to kill something. Alright, I can kill this cluster from just to the right of it. That's fine. Oh, nope, nope. Don't want to go in there. Again, if these were already shown by default, that would be great. Alright, can I run in here? No. Man, this is kind of difficult. Took damage on that one. That's disappointing. Okay, next few turrets here. You can tell I'm concentrating. This is kind of difficult. Grab off. Perfect. Loop back around. So far, that's about half of the outside of the target down. Not too bad, not too bad. These two are easy to take down. He says stopping just out of range of it. No damage from entering the arc, just a little bit there. Damage from that one. Alright. Perfect. Just the mega hole left to go here. These launchers just fired in. We'll let those finish out and then charge in. Seems like if you just time that and don't start right as the launchers are starting, you should be fine. This guy looks like the launcher one to me. This looks like the Colvarian cannon, I guess. Long range. This is short range. This one's medium range. Interesting. Pierce does seem to work here on a few things. Not perfect, but it does work. Alright, there's the bridge. Let's go ahead and see the damage from this guy. This was at full health before starting. I'm expecting about 40 minutes or so in terms of damage taken on here. Ballistic and radioactive. Again, I believe if you drive perfect, it should only be radioactive. 30 minutes from the S target and 8 seconds, if you're being exact. That's not bad. I'm pretty happy with those results, so... Hey, 500 target for 30 minutes repair. And again, here's the build I'm running. Flagship is regular build up to U3. Ship number 2 is X1 regular build. Ship number 3, U3 regular build. Ship number 4 is Hyper 30 evade build. This should be the X1 ship for the extra survival, potentially with 2 radioactive armors, although I don't actually have another radioactive armor blueprint to put on here. I only got the one of each. Alright, there is another target here in the raid, which is the 600, so that should be interesting. You keep seeing my desktop background because I keep clicking the wrong buttons. Now, it has been interesting. There have been several targets here that are not paying out these full points. I believe just the 100. The last one I hit should have worked, but that's been interesting. In terms of raid prizes to pick up, I would definitely pick up the lionfish. Voracious Lionfish flagship. I definitely pick that guy up there if you don't have it already. It is pretty much a must-need, a must-use ship. It's going to be the garrison flagship. We're going to be using it the next 8 months. Now, I did do 2 of these, 3 of these, 1 of those. I've got a set banked up here. I think that well, I'll bet you that these two S targets, the 100 and 101, can get down to quite comfortable instant base repair, or at least under 1 coin for most people for these two targets. The 500 was 1 coin, so that seems doable, but probably not worth it in terms of time to complete. The 600 target might be the deciding factor of whether this is something you end up hitting or not. We'll have to go ahead and take a look. Alright, several different land tiles, moving convoys. I'm just going to go forward and engage the convoy, trying to take just too much damage. Interesting. And by the way, this is a full X1 Harbinger fleet, as most folks who've been playing have up to. So, hey, there we go. Stay moving against any of those mortars. That should work well. These guys just keep coming. Try and use your X1 flag ability to debuff something as it's shooting at you, because this ability does reduce the reload of enemies. Probably don't want to be spinning in one circle like I was right there. Interesting. This does kill things quite quickly. Every single enemy right in this target just unshrouded at the 14-minute mark. And once I get close to them, I'll bet they go all super speed mode. Which this one just did. Debuffed and perfect. Damage is much more than instant repair on this one, by the way. Last 3 ships in the target. Well, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too painful. Stay moving, try and kill things, engaging as few ships at a time as possible, and you should do fairly well. Damage taken, some concussive and explosive. Pretty standard here. 43 minutes repair. I think that this target makes well, it's not bad, it's not good either. So I think this target makes the hitting with the Harbinger Fleet combo, even if you're like me and you've got both, makes hitting that 600 and 500 not make sense. So for most people, probably best to stick to the 101 and 100. The way to go might be autoing 100s before you go to sleep, log off for 8 hours, go to work, whatever. And repairing with a Steelhead screw, Sea Serpent crew, whatever you have on there. This one I'll bet you Steelheads will work better for. And stack up those guys, and then when you're online playing the game, drive the 101s, aim for instant base repair. In terms of prizes to pick up, I will be going for the tokens quite early, which will help me get a few more ships up to, looks like 2 more ships quite easily up to X1 here. Build tokens if you need to refit, if you want to evadivate, if you want to change an armor on anything will be great to go ahead and do. And of course, the new things, pick up the PvP armors if you're doing PvP. Concussive, fantastic armor, definitely grab this one. Corrosive, not great, not going to do a whole lot. Although, it will help you out against Armageddon scatterguns, so maybe throwing this on exterminators is a smart move. Radioactive, I guess, against the Laticuda launchers will work some, but I think that's going to be better to pick up the concussive and the corrosive as your original few armor points. Alright. Yeah, the few points about the targets in chat here, if you are someone like me and you built a flagship up to U3, but you're not going to spend 49 coins to coin a day out of it, you want to spend the next 24 hours hitting this target, go ahead and do that. Wait for your flag to finish. That's an excellent point to bring up there. You already will likely have lots of these limited items here. The Ares War Engine you should already have. The flagship you should already have. And, of course, the Garrison stuff will be great to pick up for Garrison. This is not going to be a huge improvement of the capstone, I don't think. So, honestly, you can skip this one for now. I mean, Capstone has projectile speed, that's the important bit. Survival's great, but this is not going to be the make or break for your build. The 5th ship will be much better. Alright, folks, well, a few more items going through there, and anything interesting in the build tokens. Lots of base power stuff, so. Other armor too, older armor is fantastic for the invader armor plates to pick up early. There is another structure build token, great to have those ones. I would be stockpiling those now and not spending them, at least if you're maxed out, because we do expect the Outpost 14 or 15, whatever number we're on here, and more building upgrades to be coming in the next few months here. It does take a few months to stack up on those, so I would certainly do that. Everest upgrade kits and tokens, probably skip that. Do remember, though, to pick up your flagship Damocles upgrade. Pick up your flagship Damocles, these ones right here. Pick up these things, make sure you have enough for X1 now. I almost made that mistake last raid. Of course, Defender class build tokens for your Iron Hides will be extremely helpful if you're building out those. I do have a second one of those I do need to finish out. Nothing too surprising or non-standard here, but again, the Garrison flagships will be so useful. This will be the best thing to spend your points on the entire raid. Alright folks, it's been a little bit short here, but I think that's just about everything we've had. We went through the holes to use, we went through each one of these 4 targets here. Everything else is older and we've already seen it. Not really worth hitting anything, except maybe the 80 on auto, if you just want to do only that. If you have only Reclaimers, then hey, sorry, you're kind of screwed for 50k points a set when you need 6 million. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to folks for watching, and, thank you to the support of all the channel members whose names appear on screen now. They're the folks who make these videos possible, so, of course, everyone watching and supporting is always the best that people can do. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you, folks. This is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.